Welcome back to our course Database Management System. So our today's topic of video is recovery system. So before discussing this topic, I want to tell you something about why do we require recovery system. Okay, recovery means what? The thing which we have lost, we need to restore that thing. That is called as a recovery. So that we'll discuss, but first of all we need to discuss why there is a need of recovery in case of a database. So I will give a simple example to illustrate that concept. Just imagine a situation that you have kept your amount in the bank. Generally we keep our amount in the bank, and in your account suppose 10,000 rupees are there, and all the nowadays all the banks are storing their data in the database. And just imagine that you have kept your 10,000 rupees in a particular bank and the data get lost. So in that case what will happen? Whether your 10,000 rupees get lost, whether you lose your 10,000 rupees, or there can be something, the person who didn't have any amount in their account, can he get any amount? Is it happening? Most important thing is that the person who is having certain amount in the bank and the database of that particular bank get lost. Just imagine a situation, what will happen? So in that case you will lose your amount. Is it possible? Is it allowable? Whether you allow? No, obviously not. So the data which is present in case of bank is very sensitive. Even they didn't expect, or they didn't allow to lose 1 second data, because we don't know in 1 second how many transaction is being carried out. We discuss about the transaction, and mostly we heard the transaction word in case of a banking domain. So in case of banking domain, within a second n number of transaction is being carried out. So you have to maintain all this data. Means suppose the data of 1 minute of particular bank get lost, it's a huge loss to that particular bank. It creates a lot of problem, not only to the bank, but it creates a lot of problem with the n number of customer who is having account in that particular bank. So you cannot imagine data that is lost in particular situation in case of a bank. Let's again take another example that in few years back there was an attack on a World Trade Center. So World Trade Center, huge miss, it's a very important place where huge amount of data is being placed, and after that attack all the data get lost. But do you know that all the data gets recovered? Because they don't afford to lose that much amount of data. That data is very important. Suppose they are not able to recover the data, it is a huge loss to that particular country as well as complete system. So they didn't afford to lose that amount of data. So whatever the data that is lost just because of this attack, all this data get recovered, and just because of this recovery system. So recovery system is very important part in case of a database, because nowadays data play very important role. As we know that in 21st century, in the 20th century, we can say that data acts as a blood. Just like in human body, blood play a very important role. Similarly, nowadays data is very important. If somebody is telling me that, if two cases are there, that somebody is giving me 10,000 rupees, and on the other side if somebody is giving me the 10,000 records of a particular customer, so what I will do? I will choose that data of that 10,000 customer, because by using that data I can do a number of things. That is what the importance of data. Nowadays data play a very important role. If you're going to choose the data over the money also, okay, because by using that data you can create a lot of money, more than that also. So in 21st century nowadays data play a very important role, just like a blood in the human being, just like a blood in the human body. So in database or anywhere you didn't afford to lose 1 second data. I just given these two examples so that you will understand what is the importance of data for a particular system. I just given the example of bank, and I have given the example of World Trade Center. So all that data get recovered, and just because of this recovery system. Now we understand what is a recovery system. So recovery system is the process of restoring your data, or it's a process of restoring your database to a previous consistent state before failure. Means before failure, whatever will be the consistent state, we are bringing our database to that consistent state. Because what is happening in case of database, you are performing n number of operation and suddenly there is a failure. So in that case, what will happen? What your recovery system will do? So recovery system is a process of restoring your database to a previous consistent state before failure. Means before occurrence of failure, whatever will be the consistent state, our recovery system will bring your database to that consistent state, so that everything will be fine and everything will be in a normal thing. So that is what a recovery system. It's a process of bringing your database to a previous consistent state, or you can say from inconsistent state to consistent state. Consistent state is that state where it satisfies all the rules and regulations. Okay, all the rules, whatever the rules and regulation that is being applied on the database, each and everything is followed in that particular situation. That situation is called as a consistent state. So recovery system play a very important role. We discuss about the transaction. In that case, we have seen the asset properties, and at that time I told you that the durability property of a transaction is ensured by a recovery mechanism, or you can say recovery system. Recovery system is responsible for maintaining the durability property of a transaction. So what is the durability property of a transaction? According to durability property, once you made a change in the database and that you have perform commit operation, then after that that changes should remain as it is, though there is a failure in the system. Means there should be some mechanism is ensure that though there is a failure in that particular system, but still I have something, means I can use the backup or any other techniques, or I have mechanism to recover my data, to restore my data from that situation. And just because of this recovery mechanism, durability property of transaction is being maintained. Okay, so in case of a system, failure may occur. The failure may occur for n number of reasons. Means one thing is very clear. Why do we require recovery system? Just because of the failure. What failure will do? Just because of failure, you are going to lose your data, and after failure you need to recover data. You want to recover that data, but there are different types of failure that we are going to discuss over here. So mainly there are three types of failure that may occur in the database. Very first one is a transaction failure. So in case of transaction failure, it is occur just because of logical error, or you can say system error. Logical error means what? Suppose you are not providing the appropriate input, so in that case you may face a error. Suppose it is asking for PIN. Okay, just like that, you are performing a transaction in case of a bank. You want to withdraw a particular amount from the bank, and you are just inserted your ATM card, and suppose it is asking for PIN and you are entering different thing. So in that case it gives an error. Okay, so this is what a logical error. Logical error is caused due to bad input. You are not providing the appropriate input which is expected by the system, or data not found. Whatever, means suppose you are providing a different PIN which is not your PIN. So in that case there is a failure. Ultimately in that case your database will not allow to perform that transaction because you are not entered the appropriate PIN. So this is what a logical error. Logical error is occurred just because of bad input as well as the data not found. Second is a system error, and system error is happening just because of deadlock. So we have just in the previous videos we have discussed about the deadlock situation. Deadlock is a situation where n number of transactions are waiting for each other and nobody can able to perform its execution. So that condition is called as a deadlock. So in that case also there is a failure in the system. Means complete system gets stuck. Okay, no operation will be performed. So these are the part of your transaction failure. Then next one is a system crash. System crash generally happens just because of the software failure, Okay, in case of a system crash, what is happening? Just your operating system completely crash just because of virus, any particular problem, bug is occurred in that particular operating system, and just because of this your complete system get crash, your operating system get crash, your operating system get corrupt. So in that case there is a possibility that you may you will lose your data. So this is another type of failure, that is a system crash. And the third type of failure is a disk failure, or you can say media failure. In case of a media failure, what will happen means the hard disk that you are using, we are storing our data in case of a hard disk in your system. So in that case there is a possibility that disk head of your hard disk get crashed. So in that case you will lose your data. So there are n number of types of failure that may occur. We discuss about this failure, but again there is a natural calamities. There suddenly suppose there is an earthquake in that particular area. So in that case what will happen? Your complete data get lost. Okay, just because of natural calamity, other natural calamities, the flood is there, earthquake is there, cyclone is there, and number of things can be there. Sometimes there is a malpractice is there, cyber attack. You heard about the cyber attack, the people are attacking your system and they try to block your data. So a number of reasons are there. We discuss about the three types of failure, and just because of this your data may loss. And if you want to restore that data, then you need to use a recovery system. So that's why you require a recovery system. Recovery system is that system which restore your database from inconsistent state to consistent state. Now next we discuss about different strategies, or you can say schemes, used for database recovery. So there are 4 schemes we are going to discuss over here. One is a forward recovery, backward recovery, media recovery, and the crash recovery. Now we will discuss all these 4 schemes one by one. So very first is a forward recovery. So forward recovery, as its name suggests, it supports redo. So what is the redo? Generally, suppose you are using a MS Office. In that case, suppose what you have done, you have made some kind of changes, and again you have deleted this thing. But so in that case what you want, suppose you want to redo that change. Okay, what is the change that you have done that you want to redo? Okay, again you have to do that change. So this is what a redo. Just like that, undo and redo. Undo help us to go to previous state, and redo helps to move to the forward step or next state. Okay, so similar to that there is a concept of forward recovery. Forward recovery is a strategy that is used in case of a physical damage, for example crash of your disk. So in that case forward recovery is useful. So it guarantees the durability property of transaction. I have already told you about this. So this is a small diagram which depicts the forward recovery mechanism. So in forward recovery, what is happening over here? We have last database copy. Okay, we have been available with a database copy. Okay, and we are also available with transaction log. Here 109 is not there, it's actually a log. Transaction log is there. We have database copy, last database copy before failure. Okay, and transaction log is there. Transaction log, we already discussed in case of a transaction, that log, in case of log we are maintaining all the changes. What are the changes that we are doing with the help of transaction, that is maintained in case of a log. So we have database copy and transaction log. In transaction log everything is mentioned, that this operation is performed on that particular database, whether it's a debit operation, credit operation. So in case of forward recovery, suppose there is a failure, means you are performing a transaction and suddenly there is a failure. So suppose you are adopting the forward recovery scheme. So in that case what is happening, you have been provided with a last database copy, and you also be provided with a transaction log. So by making use of this transaction log, you will make a change in the database copy. Okay, means you intend to make a change, but just because of failure you are not able to complete that change. So in that case what you will do, you will take the database copy, and in transaction log that change is recorded, that I am going to perform debit operation. So same operation you will perform again. So this is called as a forward recovery. That means you are moving from left to right direction. Okay, and here you get recorrected database. So it's a forward recovery scheme. Exactly opposite to forward recovery scheme, there is a backward recovery scheme. It is called as a undo. Suppose you have done a particular change but you want to cancel that change. In that case, what you will do, you are performing undo operation. Same thing is there. Okay. If you remember, we have discussed about the atomicity property of a transaction. So what is the atomicity property? Either all or nothing. So in that case, I have given a simple example that I want to transfer 100 rupees from account A to B. In that case, suppose after performing debit operation on account A, there is a failure in the system. Just because of n number of reason, failure may occur. So in that case, what happened? That 100 rupees that is deducted from account A get lost. Is it the case? No, that 100 rupees didn't get lost. So in that case, what it will do, it will again add that 100 rupees to account A. So this is what a backward recovery. In that case, you are undoing the change. Whatever the change that you have done, in that case you are cancelling that change. So that means you are moving in the backward direction, or it is also called as a undo. So it is used in case an error occur in the mid of a operation, because in that case, our example, we need to perform two operation, and after performing one operation there is a failure in the system. So in that case, what I need to do, I need to cancel that first operation which I have performed. So for that purpose, I can make use of a backward recovery scheme. So it guarantees the atomicity property of a transaction. Okay, so again you can see here what we have: current database copy. We have been provided with the current database copy, and we have transaction log. So from the transaction log, we come to know that what operation we have performed on the database. So what we'll do, we'll try to cancel that operation, so that whatever the change made by that particular transaction, that get cancelled, and we come back to our previous consistent state. So this is what a backward recovery scheme. Okay, this is the second scheme or second strategy. Now the third strategy is a crash recovery. It's a recovery which can be done after system crash due to hardware malfunction, or you can say bug in a database or operating system. So it will make use of write ahead log rule. So what is write ahead log rule? So these are the three things that are given over here, so that we'll discuss one by one. Very first, here Ti represents the transaction. So transaction Ti enters a commit state after Ti commit log has been output to stable storage. Stable storage means what? You can say that I am storing my data into external hard disk, so that is considered as a stable storage which is not connected to your system currently. Okay, so that is the first rule, that transaction Ti enters commit state after Ti commit log record has been output to stable storage. That means I have taken the backup of that particular state. Second, before block of data in main memory can be output to database, all log record in that block has been output to stable storage, because we know that all the data is stored in the secondary memory, but whenever we need to perform any kind of operation, we need to bring the data from secondary memory to main memory, and after performing the changes or processing, we need to send back the data to the secondary memory. So before that block of data in main memory output to a database, all log, okay, all log record in that block has been output to stable storage. Log means what? Whatever the changes that we have done, because we have seen log is a metadata which maintains more information about the transaction. What is the name of transaction, what is the ID of transaction, what operation it has performed, what is the current state, what is the next state. So everything is maintained in case of a log. So before transferring that updated block from main memory to secondary memory, what you will do, that you will send the log to stable storage. Stable storage in case external hard disk. Okay, then third one, before Ti commit log record can be output to stable storage, all log record related to transaction Ti have been output to stable storage, because there may be the case that related to that transaction Ti other operations are also there, or other things are also there. So that first of all you need to take the backup of this, and then you have to take the backup of this. Okay, so this is what a write ahead log rule, and that will be used in a crash recovery scheme. And the fourth scheme or fourth strategy is media recovery. So it's a recovery which is performed after disk head crash. Okay, media recovery or disk recovery. That recovery is that happens just because of what? Disk head get crash. So in that case, what you will do, generally media recovery can be performed in the following two steps. What are the steps? Restore or reload the database from its backup. See, the backup mechanism play a very important role, because in case of recovery, one of the things that you do, you can take the backup, and if suppose failure will occur, from that backup you can restore your database. Okay, and second thing is system log is used to redo all the changes. I just told you about this, that log is a metadata which maintain the changes, what change you have done, that is being recorded in case of a log. Suppose you lose your data, from that log you come to know that these are the operation performed on the database. So what you will do, you'll perform the redo operation. So this is what a fourth strategy, or you can say scheme, that is a media recovery. Actually there are these two are main schemes, forward recovery and backward recovery, but here I discussed two more, that is crash recovery and the media recovery. So I hope you understand why there is a need of recovery in the database, and what do you mean by recovery, and what different strategies can be adopted in case of a recovery management in case of a database. So in next video we discuss about the more techniques. Thank you.